So as you're going eye to eye with the king and queen, and you're being taken up in levels of consciousness or down in levels of consciousness as you're being turned into a goldfish, and the man, the machine, and the program is all coming in and being flipped and switched around and whatever else as you go into the Earth 2.0 or Earth 3.0 or whatever level of Earth or whatever y'all choose to believe we are in. So, the Great Deception has been told to you and is being told to you currently, and you are in the days of future past. And as you are in the days of future past, this is where you're going into this little thing here, and you've already merged with the machine, and the machine runs on the dark energy of Earth, and money and these things is a energy exchange system. So the overall energy exchange system is being changed on the earth as the currency is being changed, as the stable coin is here, as the so-called computer work and all these things or whatever. And the AI has been here since 60s, 70s, you've been playing chess with it and whatever else, right? So as all these things are here, it's where you've been in upside down world. You haven't really been working, and you've been that lazy boy, and now you're going to have to get back to work, or you're going to have to become that Frankenstein. You lose all that weight, and you got this flabby stuff here, and that's part of that flubber and that Disney in another way. But then you're going to go get it all cut off and stitched back up, and that Leo and Stitch as that cartoon's playing out. That Lion of Judah, the Lion of Judah, the lion connects to the devil. So that devil connects you to that serpent connects you to that ambulance, and that hospital, and that who, as that snake is rising up that rod and going to the angel's wings and all that other things. So, your little Icarus is going to fly. It's already flying to high, and your wax wings are going to start melting, and you're going to crash down into the new heaven and earth, and you're going to be at zero, and the zero's for the ground zero and the Jubilee and all that other stuff. The Jubilee is tied into your Bill Clinton and the destroying wind on the blowjobs, and the jobs is tied to the Satan, where the sons of, or Satan comes with the sons of God. And once you understand the mirror and the trap light and the golden ratio of nature, the laws of nature, how the Greeks have a law, but the Jews who are seeking salvation, and that church of Satan or whatever on that level. So this is where that Jesus and Satan is where within each of you, and you have the power to practice your religion however you want. And a religion is your daily practices, okay? Your so-called addictions, they want to hold over you and control you with, okay? And they made it to where we got to make this shit believable. We got to make them really think that tobacco causes lung cancer. But they're telling, well, this person has got stage 4 and he's never smoked a day in his life. So, I think we should put formaldehyde on the tobacco. Oh, yeah, sounds like a great idea. And that's exactly what they're doing. So, plus 2,000 other plus chemicals or whatever, depending which brand or whatever you smoke. All right, so if you want the good stuff, you got to grow it yourself, or you got to do a little research and find out which tobacco is good for you, because there's different cures within the plants and the leaves and the styles. And do you do it with the sun or no sun, or heat, no heat, all these things, okay? Smoke, no smoke. So, same with the cannabis. You can't like mass produce medical cannabis, so to speak. Medical cannabis, just like medical food, let food be like medicine in a way, has to be seasonal. You got to have a seasonal base in a way. And then that seasonal base breaks off to the other. All right? And that way everything stays new, stays fresh, so to speak. Y'all are all eating the same shit every day, same everything every week kind of thing. You got the fucking internet or whatever. Look up some recipes that don't have fucking Velveeta in it. Do you even know what real cheese tastes like? No, you don't. You don't even know what real butter is. Parquet. That parquet is being put on the old greens. That kind of green, the sick. That Gus Deer boy. That deer boy is going to the cross, and that deer boy is within you as you become that Protestant antler. The Protestant. You've been pushed off the Wycliffe with that religion, the legion of demons, the 6,000 points of intelligence as you've brought into the six-sided box. And that cube, the cub, the incubation and that biogenesis self-replicating system or whatever that probably fully get popped on that 6G x-ray system, as you come into the new heaven and earth and we're resetting man and consciousness and all these things. Going into the sphere, the cone. And then ice cream's in the middle of the cone. And all these things. All right, so the compass, the compasseth, the right, left, the right, wrong. The wrong and the left are not always the right lineup. So that's where you got the heliocentric South Pole here, the flat Earth South Pole there or everywhere, and then the center's in the middle. All right? So you've been given over to that delusion. It's been given life through your Hollywood studios, your NASA, the serpent tongue, and all this shit. So if anything, space is underneath us, not above us. All right. So that's a whole nother lesson. But this goes into the trap light, and we're trap light. And as we see things from out here, we experience things from down there, and we're told about a mantle, and that mantle can be tied to the so-called other sun that is lighting up the other side of the earth, because when they do a black hole or whatever, they show you that kind of thing. Okay, going through there. So that's where you get Earth, wherever we're at, or we're actually probably down here with the China, or however, or the Asia Minors. It's where the light down here controls through the darkness up here, and the darkness up here controls through the light down there, all those kinds of vice versa things as you go into that. This song right here, it's not a very good one, but the waning and waxing of the moon, the light and dark holding the truth within itself. It's where you're presented a truth as a child in one way. And yeah, some of it works. Like you got to write to communicate to people, or you got to sign language or whatever. You got to use your two legs to walk. You got to use your fingers to do whatever kind of thing. Okay. But the rules about like, hey, you can't stand on my table. You got to keep your room clean, or those types of things. Okay. All these are different degrees of, like, some parents require this. Some parents don't require that. And as you get older, you are let out of that box. So you're born in a box. And then this box wants to contain you in a way. But this box, this Eden or whatever, this family and whatever, can only take you so much. All right? And then Jesus tells you, beware when people speak good of you. And then you're within that, you're like, because you're living life according to their measures, and you may not be living life according to you. And this is exactly where the church is coming in, and all these things. They're using Jesus against you, and Jesus gives you freedom from those places. Jesus gives you the power to become this whole page. All right? And then some. You're just not contained in this little book. We have millions, billions of books, but they want to tell you God is in this one. And you find God through Muhammad or Jesus or Moses or whoever, whatever son of God you want to become subjugated to. So it's all your choice. And there's certain levels of man and consciousness and the law of Moses and these things being taken from one to the other. And this is where you see most societies living nicely with people. All right? What's the society going and robbing and raping and pillaging the whole world? Done through the grace of freedom and all this other stuff. It's the free versus bond, and they use the free to bring the bond. And that's the spies and all this other shit. So, the times are all ready. And the people are already going to go into this control mechanism. They're already in the control mechanism. And like the Ozempic, those style drugs, and then the trans drugs, the hormones and all these stuff, when you put together the big picture, these things are here at a certain time because it's the final test. As you're in the final test, the final gathering of consciousness, you're going into the 48, the 49, the 50, the 51. Trump's already mentioned the 51 and 52. The 52, the Greenland, the sick land, that can be the 52 month of his second coming on a, and that's also the flip on the 25 and the 55, the 22 for the Revelation 22, the new heaven and earth and all those things. So that's where you're going into month 22, which is 11/19 GTA 6 start, and then that goes to the 22 the 26th month, 27th month, 28th month. All right, you are already I forget the number going into it. Either way, y'all go do your own math. We got a forward count and a backward count going from Trump's second coming to going out of the second coming. But either way, the Garden of Eden and this like window into heaven and earth and hell and all those things is all kind of like being combined into this phone as the AI and the consciousness, all this thing is gathered up, and as it's all gathered up and transformed and whatever else, that transformed is the electric light within the person. And that's where the Christos, the oil, the petroleum, all these things have been taken out in one way, shape, or form and put back in. And that's where we're shown, like we used to have lead paint and lead whatever everywhere, but now we have this kind of thing. And this is a slow progression because there may have been a time where man and this phone may not have been able to electrically connect in a way. So this is all tied into the magnetics, the iron in the blood, and the magnetics tie into your so-called firmament and the two seeds of life, the north and south, so to speak, the positive, negative coming together. That's the man and woman, the semen and egg, all this stuff all coming together to create this life. So as you have the sun here creating everything around us, okay, this is also within each and every one of us. We are all each an earth system, and we all have the power of God and the light of God and the life of God and all these things, all within each and every one of us, okay? And the God that y'all teach and preach about being out there and Jesus being on the right hand and heaven being wherever else and whatever, it tells you it's a mustard seed, or it's likened into a mustard seed. So if y'all die, just good chance you go into a mustard seed for that little incarnation. Okay, so you're born again and again and again and again. And the energy within you, this voice inside, okay? This body is just a shell for it. When this shell gets used and abused, basically, it's an egg for this light to hatch within this world. As we're trapped light. We're trapped light coming from maybe an underworld. As space and these things are brought, space can be underneath us in a way if there's not a two-world system. Or if there is a two-world system, okay? This is where the two-world system, you got the two seeds of life coming together, all right? They boom, 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 and they start self-replicating, and you get the trap light and untrapped light, and then the firmament, all rock, all that is trap light. So glass, diamonds, all that is trap light. So you could actually have a clear thing. And that's where the stars and all this stuff look like they are underwater. That's where the rockets, they leave like a water trail and whatever else. So this can be like, if they're going up, they're going in the wrong direction. And that's why they teach space underwater, or why they train for space underwater or whatever. If you have this two worlds, right? The exit would be out here. Okay? So you'd have to go that way at the South Pole in a way and dig under and get out that way, if anything. All right? Because all this is all magnetized, and we see that in magnetics and shit or whatever, and the layers of the bow and the prism and all that stuff all connect with this, and then you go into the eyeball and the AI and all that, where all this stuff is all coming together over and over and over and over and over and over and over, as everything is built on these days. Okay? So lay this out in 1,000 points of light in all directions. So all y'all got to do is go back and listen, and it still continues. And the keys to these things are in Genesis and Revelation, as we are living live in these time frames with the new heaven and earth and the old heaven and earth colliding, as heaven is at hand and the new heaven and earth. The old earth is gathered up in the palm of your hand as the whole world has become a village. And the AI, the king and queen, has created a stable coin to run the village and all those types of things. And you're going to have to bring your avatar self, your dream self, into here. Okay, this is the land of the dead, where you're asleep, the American dream, and you're going into a physical reality of that merged with the avatar. So this is where certain things, you've had it for this amount of time, and these things are levels built on things as far as 24-year increments, so you can easily understand a day. All right, because you've seen the millennium here. You see generations born, 20-ish year increments or whatever. The millennium, the truth movement. All right, the truth movement is tied to the Jesus movement because he's connected to the truth and the grace. Moses, who creates the veil, is connected to the law. There may be truth within the law, but it's not necessarily true all around. Okay, and that's either way, that the law connects you to the Baal worship and the Abel, and that's where it goes back to the Lord God and casting Cain, who is given a mark. Going to that vagabond, the free versus the bond. Either way.